Hey, hey,
Hello,
hey. Welcome to Tuesday at Lunch in the Music Box. I'm
hello.
Stephanie and my co host, DJ Lotus. She's feeling a little under the weather today, so she won't be joining us. So, you guys, let's send her much, much love. DJ Lotus, you got to get it together, girl. I miss you out here. So, today, I have a special guest. I want to just let you guys hear a little something here. We are listening to music from the infamous Terence Price. T Price, what's up? What's up? Welcome to the lunch of the music box.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited about this opportunity. You know, we've worked together in the past.
Absolutely.
You helped me level up in another form of music thing or whatever. Some of the biggest checks I ever seen doing that. But
Yes, we've had a great time together. Good time making money. So it's nice to see you on the other side. You doing your thing, doing what you love, which is
that's right.
making music, not just playing music.
Yes, ma'am.
Since you're going to be new to a lot of people on this platform, can you take a second and kind of introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Terence Price, but my friends call me TP. But on my albums, it's T Price. Um, I've been DJing probably since I was 14 years old. I've been playing instruments probably since I was about 10. I got my started playing bass when I was about 10, dabbling in guitar, playing keys and stuff like that. I just always had a desire, to want to like write songs and produce songs and stuff like that. And when I work with a bunch of like local artists and stuff, trying to put out projects and stuff like that. And the
Mhm.
fickleness of them and the non-commitment and stuff just made me want to, I said, you know what, I can do this stuff myself.
Okay.
So I just started writing and producing like demos and stuff, and just taking my time over the years, getting that polished sound and stuff like that. And in between, doing DJ gigs and pretty much just trying to stay in the music. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Yes, you know what? It's like either music is for you or well, actually, it's for everyone. But when you are in the business, it just becomes a part of you. So, yeah, you want to keep your feet in at all costs, whether you're DJing or whether you're making music. But now you're doing what you really want to do. It's just make
Right.
music.
It's all driven by the love of music. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't
Exactly.
do it because I want to get rich off of it, but I mean I'm passionate about it. It's probably the only thing that I'm probably good at. You know what I'm saying? I've had all kinds of jobs that I suck at. I hate punching the time clock. I mean, but you got to do it. But music is the one thing that all gives me like, I always get something back from it when I put
Right.
something in.
Outstanding. And you know what? And let's not say that you don't do it for a paycheck because guess what? We
What?
all want to get paid doing something that
That's
we
right.
love.
That's right. Y'all stop stealing people's music. Pay the
Hey,
man.
hey,
James
stop
Brown
it.
said, "Pay the man." Anyway,
Um, so Terrence, since I have you on here, I'm going to put you on the spot. I need some music intro for my show here. You got me?
you know how far we go back? We go back like four flats, or is that down like four flats? Yeah, I got you.
You got me. All right, I
You
love
know
that.
I
You
got
guys hear
you.
this, right? This is recorded and it's live. You guys are my witnesses here.
Because I know you like a ground up type of person. So if you move up, you're gonna take your people with you. So
Absolutely. I believe that when the table is set, if I eat, we all eat. That's just how it
that's right.
is.
That's right.
So,
You always been like that. Like I said, I was just flailing around doing like weddings and stuff with like wacky people and dressing up in a tuxedo and a monkey suit. And like you used to have me doing those cool events, you know what I'm saying, with like cool people and cool music. And yeah.
gotta
So
challenge you. Gotta
so yeah,
challenge.
I'm more than happy to give back to that cause.
Check this out. Somebody else supports you in saying that. Stop stealing music.
Oh wow. Who the hell is that?
That's funny. So, Terrence, you did say that you started playing the bass really early. So let's go back a little bit further back than the bass. What actually triggered your interest or piqued your interest in music to begin with?
Well, I just always like records. Like my father always had a bunch of records. My mother had records, so I would take their records and scratch them all up. And like the Jackson Five was my group, right?
Uh-huh.
And I wanted to be Jermaine. You know what I'm saying? Like
Jermaine.
I'm talking about early Jermaine, not
Okay.
not Freako Jermaine that's out there right now. No offense. The guy's a little weird now, but and I would just play them albums, you know what I'm saying? And I'd grab my bass and I'd be like, I'm over here with Jermaine, and then I have four imaginary brothers over there. But I was Jermaine, you know what I'm saying?
You were
So
Jermaine. Hey,
I
that's
was Jermaine. I was the bass player of the Jackson Five, even though the other four brothers were imaginary.
okay. Gotcha. So the bass. The bass was
Yeah.
your first instrument. Do you play any other besides the bass?
While I play guitar, lead, rhythm, I play keys too, a
Okay.
little piano. I'm not as good as I want to be. Like I really want to develop my keyboard playing and my piano playing because unfortunately, like when I do production and stuff and I want to do something really sophisticated
Uh-huh.
and my chord vocabulary and some of my melodies and stuff like that are kind of limited. Like I have it in my brain, but I don't have the ability to just like, do what's in my head. So sometimes I have to get one of my friends who's, he just happens to be a keyboard player. And, I tried to go it alone and do it, but I found that it's a lot better when you bring other people in and actually let them help you and do stuff because it just adds like a whole nother piece to it, or sophistication or whatever. So um
Absolutely.
I'm just, I like to put my hands on everything, as far as like from the time it's written, conceived, or whatever. I want to like be involved in the mixing process, everything until I'm ready to say, okay, it's a go.
Gotcha. But collaborating is half the enjoyment with music too. So reaching out to your peers and saying, "Hey, come on and help on this." It gives you different perspectives. Sometimes it can give you like how you like missing that like one little bar or melody or like change, and that person can bring that to it. So
Yeah.
much
Well,
love.
I did an album in 2009. It's called T Price. I Can't Stop the Raindrops, and it's still available out there. If your audience wants to go grab it, I will still gladly collect those royalties. However, it was kind of basic. I mean, it was musical, but at the same time, it didn't go as far as I wanted it to. So I got with one of my friends, like I said, who was a keyboard player, and he added a level of sophistication to my next project. But I was kind of torn because some of the things he was doing was making it less organic and more, it was just too clean. Like I like the nice kind of like gritty, like organic type of dirty sound,
Uh-huh.
and I wasn't 100% satisfied with it. So, I'm just trying to find that happy medium on the next thing I did.
Gotcha. So you pretty much grew up in a family of music because your dad is a musician also, isn't he?
He is my dad, the Lou Jerome Blues Band, which is defunct at this time, but I'm trying to get him. Well, I'm not trying to get him, but I mean, we're talking about, maybe getting him back out there. He did bands for a long time, and I mean, he's always been like, singing and stuff in church and stuff like that. And
Right.
me and my sister, we used to make fun of him because when he would sing, we would just be all embarrassed and stuff. And some of that stuff must have permeated in me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's always been in me. But you know, and then of course, like he would always tell me stories about how my great grandparents were involved with music and stuff. So I don't know if it's just a thing that's like within or whatever, but it's always kind of been around me. And like I said, he's always collected albums and stuff. I got a chest over here full of his records,
All right now.
and I'm I I guess I do get it from like family and stuff. I don't like to always give the credit because like when I record a project, I don't see family around,
Right.
but
Okay.
I don't want to go there. You know what I'm saying? Or like when you need support and family ain't nowhere
Hey,
around.
hey, you better watch it. You know they might watch this now.
Well, they need to hear about it because I actually did like I said, did an album a long time ago, and I had an uncle. I'm not gonna call his name out. He gonna ask me how much did it cost for me to make the CD, and that's how much he'll give me for it. I'm like, well, I'm asking for $12. Well, you only paid $3, so he gave me $3 for it. And then I had another aunt over here tell me, oh, well, I have to hear it first before I buy it. And I'm like, okay. So I
So,
mean, nothing feeds you like family. You know what I mean?
exactly. So you were sitting there talking about the boxes of music there. So that's where this comment comes from, Vinyl Rules. So my partner in crime, who's normally here, don't be surprised if she's knocking on your door because she and her counterpart, DJ Wazio, they actually do WPFW's Soul Conversation Radio at 8 o'clock at night. So they're
What?
famous for going and digging through the crates, as they call it, finding all the old school music, the good stuff, and re-educating these young folks with some real music. So I'm telling you right now, DJ Lotus, I'm not telling you where he lives because you and DJ Wazio are not going to go and dig through the crates.
I got hundreds of vinyl records still laying around. I mean, I thought at some point they'd be worth something, but it turns out nobody's really in the. I mean, if it's a few of them that people pay a lot of money for, but I was just like, I thought my Michael Jackson off the wall that I kept in like the plastic, I was like, man, I'm gonna get some money for this.
Oh no, not another collector. Not another collector here.
Yeah,
Um,
so I
so
got a few of them.
you're talking about like old music and having like the vinyl and the music in the boxes. What was like thinking of old school music, right? What was your inspiration? Oh, wait a minute. Somebody's look at this. Wait a minute before we go check this out. They're already asking what your address is.
What's your address? Hey,
Wait.
don't worry. I live in hell right now, so if you're willing to travel to hell, I'll be glad to give you all the albums you can get.
So seriously, old school music. When you think back to old school music, maybe something that your parents played. What was an inspiration for you?
Well, like I said, the Jackson 5, then
Uh-huh.
of course like Larry Graham,
Ah,
um, the Brothers Johnson, like Strawberry 23 is my favorite song of all time. Like,
really?
yeah, Strawberry Letter 23.
Uh-huh.
That's like my theme song. So every time I'm doing something, I got Strawberry Letter 23.
Uh-huh.
Of course, Earth, Wind and Fire, LTD, the Commodores, all the
Gotcha.
Motown stuff. Um, gee whiz, Cameo, not like Cameo with Word Up with the guy got the urinal around his, and the not.
I
I'm
got
talking
you.
about Cameo when it was like 13 dudes in the back. Everybody had big Cameo. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Not the
right.
little
Gotcha.
Ohio players. The list
So
goes on and on.
yeah, so a lot of those bands that you are artists that you're mentioning are like bands, like
That's right.
right. So what do you think about like I guess whenever I think about bands nowadays, of course Earth, Wind and Fire is still around. They're not doing as much, but yeah. But what do you think about like Mint Condition? Now, what do you think like that to me when I think bands, especially like in this day, I always go to them. Who do you go to? Who do you think of?
No, I like Mint Condition. Um, they got a great band. I like um D'Angelo,
Okay.
the Roots,
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Roots.
um, Tony. Gotta
Okay.
give it up to Tony. My man Elijah E.B. Baker,
Okay.
um,
Okay.
who was the bass player for Tony. He did a whole documentary about that, but I'm not gonna pump that up too much. But check it out.
We
But yeah,
will.
Tony. Um, yeah, Mint Condition. Of course, anything that Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis do, like the Time,
Right.
that Minneapolis sound.
Yeah.
Of course, Dr. Dre. You know what I'm saying? Like NWA, all that West Coast stuff. DJ Quick.
Okay. Okay.
Um, it's just so many. Like you put me on the spot. You're right, because I just can't think of all of them.
Hey,
I just want to grab all of them.
it's always unscripted when it comes to me because that how you were just talking about being organic. I feel like when it's unscripted, you're getting like the true, real like feelings and stuff with that. So, oh, here we go. Here's another comment coming up for you. Someone else obviously likes that West Coast flow that you like.
Oh yeah. See, and back when I first started getting into like beats and stuff, and I try to work with rappers,
Uh-huh.
they were like into that New York sound, that boom bap, boom bip bip bip. But my rap was my beats were always like more musical, and they're like, "Oh man, you need to go ahead with that West Coast shit." Oh, sorry, I didn't
Yeah,
mean to.
I'm sure it's edited somewhere, but I don't care. We're
But
good.
but I mean that I was trying to be musical with it, and they're like, "Oh man, you're trying to sound like West Coast." It's like, nah, I'm just giving you what's inside of me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not
Right.
trying to copy like uh uh Bad Boy and D Dot and DJ Premier and all those guys. You know what I'm saying? I was just trying to develop my own sound. But I mean, unfortunately, like in Baltimore, people would have like they would kind of have like a limited scope as far as what they was willing to digest. You know what I'm saying? They
Right.
just want to kind of Baltimore really didn't have like a musical identity. You know what I'm saying? You know how DC has go go or whatever, but
Right.
Baltimore is just like that crazy club music.
I was gonna
And
say, was
then
it more like house music in Baltimore? Because I know on many a days of going to Baltimore to get
yeah,
my groove
yeah,
on.
and then they would just kind of like try to mimic like New York rappers and stuff like that. And I was just like,
Gotcha.
that's not what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Which also drove me to do like more solo oriented stuff because I just said, okay, well, if I can't get somebody to, buy into my vision, I would just do it myself.
Gotcha. So you were sitting here talking about rap and we were talking about band and stuff like that, and then you're talking about how Baltimore really didn't give you like the type of music that you were really interested in. So what genre of music do you consider yourself?
Well, right now at this point, I think I've morphed in like a smooth jazz type of person.
Okay, got you.
Um, like like the project, the Let's Take Time song you played
Hmm.
could easily be on watercolors like on XM or like a smooth jazz station. Um, and it's not something I try to do on purpose. It's just something that happened naturally. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then some of the other stuff would just kind of be considered like mid level R&B or something like that. But it has like a lot of you know like like when I pick the guitar up and I'm playing like some Norman Brown type of licks or something like that. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? So
Oh yeah, I'm telling you right now, my girl DJ Lotus is probably all in her feelings right now that she can't be here because she's also a bass player and you are
what?
mentioning like some of the old school stuff that she really listens to. She's oh my goodness, I can't even think right now, but because her mom is a super music junkie, you were hitting it. Norma Brown, you were hitting her genre, her go-to music. So
Oh yeah, like
yeah.
George Benson. I listen to a lot of that. Um, even old like jazz guitar stuff, like Wes Montgomery and stuff like that. I mean, I can't do the stuff those guys do, but I try to, get some of those sounds out.
Yeah, yep. This is from her. She's tripping right now. See, missing out, girl. You got to get better. You got to get better so you can get back on the show.
We got to collab. We got to collab for sure.
Uh
Whatever.
oh. You hear that,
So
DJ Lotus? He's ready to collab. He's ready.
yeah,
Um,
let me know how
so
I can support that.
I have to tell you. So when we first got on before the show started, and I
Hmm.
was asking you about the vocals, and you said you were the one who laid down the vocals for this. That floored me. I mean, I knew you could play, and I knew you had an ear for music because we worked together before. But I didn't know you could, had a little some pipes going on down in here.
What took see what I learned over the years was not necessarily how to sing, but how to like fold it in production. You know what I'm saying? Like with the backgrounds and stuff. Like a lot of the backgrounds that I do, like is like stacked several times. You know what I mean? Like I
Oh, yeah.
might just use like 12 to 18 tracks just for background vocals. And I do some stuff, as far as like the engineering piece, as far as like panning them from left to right to give them that wide sound. But what I did, I got that from like Commission, which is a gospel group.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
if you listen to their early stuff or like the whinings, like the backgrounds were just like, you know,
Right. 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 Right.
they would just like fill up. But so I stole a lot of those techniques. So a lot of what I'm recording is kind of fake. You know what I'm saying? So when I was recording all this stuff, it's not fake that I'm not doing it, but
Right.
you can always go back and record and undo and do and try again. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So I just it like I said, it's not because I really wanted to be a singer, but because I got tired of trying to work with people
Uh-huh.
and trying to get them to see my vision. You know
I
what I'm
got
saying?
you.
You
Yeah.
know, people that are musicians are not like Wall Street people or people that work in corporations and stuff. They don't do what they're told. You know what I'm saying? They think, oh, I can sing. I don't have to do what you say. I can do it by myself.
Mhm.
But it takes like a level of commitment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially when you're buying into somebody else's vision.
Gotcha. So besides playing music and singing music and you're doing your own production, what part of that do you prefer like the most? Are you really into the production part of it, or are you more into like the creating, writing music or performing? Like what's your baby?
I think I just like to play music. Like, when I'm just sitting around, like I like always like to have a guitar in my hand and doing different riffs and stuff like that.
Hmm.
As far as like production goes, I just don't sit around and just you know uh try different stuff. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times by the time I start to program something, like it's been in my head for months, years, days, weeks, whatever, because in my mind, like when I'm at work and it's quiet, like I'm working all this stuff out in my head, you know what I'm saying?
Okay,
So I know exactly what I want to do by the time I get in there and start laying stuff down.
gotcha. So, because we are on a music show and because it's musicians and it's DJs and it's music enthusiasts and stuff, I just want to ask you, ask a lot of people, but what does music mean to you? I mean, what has music provided for you? What does it mean? What is music for Terence Price?
I mean, really, it's just like it's really like a way of life. It's like an attitude. It's language. It's really everything. It's just like oxygen. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't imagine this world like with just no music. You know what I'm saying? Like I can imagine not having trees or grass or whatever, but like music, I'm like I don't know how you do that. And also, especially what's coming out now, like I don't want to discourage like young people that are doing stuff, but you can tell that a lot of it's not musical, it's cookie cutter, it sounds a lot alike, but I know people before me were saying the same thing about me, so I'm not gonna totally judge that. But I mean, we're kind of like getting away from like musicality, we're getting like something else, you know what I'm saying? It's just kind of, I don't know. So I think that because of the way music is today, I think a lot of the stuff we were listening to like 40, 50 years ago is still relevant. You can still
Right,
put on like September at a party or Brick House or something like that, and it's still
right,
like, it's like, oh, what is this?
right.
Even, and it's for all generations. So I mean, but it's like oxygen for me, like I needed to breathe, I needed to eat, I needed
Yeah,
to live. So
I understand. So you're talking about like the old music still being relevant today. I find it really amusing, not really amusing, but I just find it really interesting. And I've shared this with some other guests, how this generation, with their creativity, it's still grounded on some old stuff. They're forever grabbing something from back in the day, my day, which is before
right,
your day, but grabbing music back from even before me to sample, to use on their tracks. So that's like that might be the bass line that they're using, or it might be the background vocals that they're using from somewhere else and they're bringing it, or they're just trying to put a new spin on something that was already done, some years
right.
ago and stuff. So yeah, it kind of leaves you wondering, where is music going? I mean, because we're reaching back. It's not so much new creations that are coming out. There are some that are out there and phenomenal that are creating some great music. And what's really funny is it is like the Daniel Caesars or like the LMAs or some of the other neo soul, indie soul artists that are coming to me that seem to be more creative than some of the other stuff that's out there. Um, but speaking of music of today, who do you like? Who do you listen to?
Well, I do like LMA. I was just thinking about a song she has with Usher, I think it is.
Okay.
And they what they did was they took like uh it's like the melody from like a old Jackson song. Let me show you the way to go. And then they
Okay.
took like a high five record like I like and brought fused them two together and they're just doing that. Um of course I like Ariana Grande.
Okay.
You know, I listen to the Jonas Brothers. Um, what's this guy's name? Shawn Mendes. Is that a person? Is that an artist?
I'm not sure. I'm hoping that DJ Wazio is listening too because he is my
Um,
go-to when stuff comes up. He just pops right in
um,
with stuff.
yeah, man. And God, what's this guy's name? Like, I listen to like the latest music, but I just can't tell you a lot of the people don't really stick out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because a lot of it, unfortunately, does sound like I like Sam Smith. You know,
Okay.
I mean,
She
he
has
has a
your
unique voice.
voice.
He has a unique voice, you know what I'm saying? And it's catchy,
Right.
But some of that stuff be cranking, like I'll be riding the car and they'll be like, "How can you sleep when you lie to me?" And I'll be like, "God, that's deep."
So the lyrics, they kind of stick. They get you, huh?
Yeah, they sneak them in there sometimes. And then then you got like some stuff like this Cardi B record with Megan Thee Stallion,
Uh-huh.
it's just kind of like I almost had to turn the channel on that because it's just
Right.
so. I mean, it is what it is, but I mean, it's just kind of crass. I'm like, man, really?
Well, you know what? Music has lost some of the sensuality that it had back in the day because, when I think back to like my parents' music and stuff, like they didn't tell you what they were doing, but you still knew what they were doing. I won't say all of them because there were some back before that were kind of really rough, but they didn't say what they were doing, but you knew what they were doing. And they said it almost like it was like, covert, like it was kind of like, okay, it's a little secret, as opposed to
Right.
nowadays, they just come right out. Yeah, I'm gonna flip you upside down. I'm gonna run you down the street. I'm gonna pack a big fat truck, all of that stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
So I appreciate
yeah,
your music because I don't hear that. You can still hear the sentiment of love and romance and all those things that we as women, we still love. And it's not just, talking about what's going to happen after love or maybe even before love starts. So I love that. So where do you find your inspiration?
um, really, just just everyday life. Like it's funny. I had someone tell me, "You're nothing like your songs." You know what I'm saying? I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like,
Yeah,
"You're
what is
nothing
that?
like your songs." And I'm like, "Well, so I have a friend. Well, I call him a brother. My brother Eugene.
Okay.
He writes a lot of the songs. Like he just has like lyrics like in a big red folder like this, and I've had it for years. So every once in a while, I'll just sit there and I'll take a page from this, and I'll be like, okay, if I put this verse here and mix it with
Right.
that,
Right.
and like he definitely has like a sensual side that I don't have. You know what I'm saying? When he's writing, like a sensitivity that I wish I had. But
Right.
every once in a while, I just like the song "Let's Take Time."
Yeah.
I remember when I was married and like I just remember feeling like lonely and stuff, so I just started, writing these words down, how peaceful love must flow and you're always on the go and all this stuff.
Right.
And I just started going and going. And I'm like, oh,
Right.
so I just pulled something from something I was experiencing. So
Right.
a lot of it is just life experience and then like a combination of just like different melodies from the past and, things that have happened over my life.
I got you. Uh-oh, here's another comment for you.
Whoa. That's so funny. I was growing up with Lionel Richie, not so much my parents, but more of
Oh
my brother.
yeah, party on
Yeah,
Lionel
well,
Richie.
was
So
good to see. Good to see people listening and involved.
exactly. So when you were talking about like a lot of times your lyrics and stuff coming from personal experience, um, based on just some things that I've seen and talking to other musicians and stuff like that, it seems to me like those songs that are based on personal experience, whether it's your feelings right there in that moment and you're just writing them down and it kind of helps you deal with those feelings, those songs tend to be the songs that kind of like are the ones that people hold on to. They grab to them and they hold them and they just they become like for us as women because we're so emotional most times it like becomes our anthem. It's like I'm feeling this way and I'm gonna play this song until I get this feeling out. So I love when you guys as artists do talk about your own feelings in your music because then it definitely gives us something to connect to, because we can feel that rawness of the emotion. And I mean, and it helps us to kind of get through. So I love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love
I
that.
mean, I mean, I've had like guys, you know what I'm saying? Like I used to work with this guy. His name is Dion. I'm not gonna say his last name, but
Okay.
we were getting to know each other or whatever. So I'm like, yeah, man, I do music. So I gave him a CD of all my songs, right?
Uh,
And I just let him ride with it. You know what I'm saying? Just doing a little. And like when we would be at work and he'd be relieving me on breaks and stuff, he'd come in singing my lyrics. He'd be, screaming my lyrics to the top of he's like, oh man, what was you thinking about when you wrote that? And I'm just sitting there like, dude, I don't want to talk to you while we're at work, you know what I'm saying? But he's like all into the lyrics and shit.
right.
And I'm just like, man, I'm just here to work. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. But you don't realize what impact that stuff has on people.
Exactly.
True
I
story.
love knowing that men kind of go through some of the same things that we as women do when it comes to when we find that song that like hits our spirit.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Uh,
Like, yeah, I'm glad guys listen to that stuff and be like, man, you know, the one thing we have in common is the fact that we just share a roof. And I'll just be sitting there like, what are you talking about? And they'd be like, man, it was in that song you wrote, man.
that's
I'd be like, oh, I guess you're right. Like
um,
guys.
so a couple more questions.
Okay.
First off, if you could work with any artist out there, who would you want to work with?
Man, definitely like, Dr. Dre or like Norman Brown. Like this is a weird, Bootsy. I
Okay.
want to do, I want to, collaborate with Quincy Jones, before he gets too old and just, go back to some of the old stuff, Shaka Khan, um, Barbara Weathers.
Oh,
Does anybody know who Barbara Weathers is? I know
yeah, I
you do.
do. That was I know that name. Why do I know that name? It was I'm getting ready to cheat.
She sang Secret Lovers and when she was, Atlantic Star, they used to
Yes.
change their lead singer. So she was Secret Lovers,
Yeah,
Always,
you're right. That's exactly what it is.
Silver Shadows. That's
Uh-huh.
Barbara Weathers, right?
Okay, yep. Okay.
Um, it's just so many of them. You know what I'm saying? I can't think of. Of course, I like to sit down with Jermaine and pound something out because like people make fun of Jermaine, but I mean, he has an incredible voice.
Yeah, he does. I give him
Yeah.
credit.
And he's like an entity all of his own. Like I know people like to sleep on Jermaine, but I'm telling you, you need to go back and listen to some of Jermaine's stuff.
I'm sitting here, I'm dying because you wanted to be Jermaine when you were growing up.
That's
Jermaine is
right.
the person you would like to collaborate with. And I'm sitting here going, but what about Prince? He could play everything. He
I
can do everything.
I mean, I like Prince, but my ex-wife loved Prince. You
Okay,
know what
I
I'm saying?
got you.
And I just like I like Prince, but I've just never been like a Prince until he got like older, and he started doing like the unplugged stuff and he was
Yeah,
just like connecting with the audience. I was
right.
like, oh yeah, I like that dude right there, you know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Gotcha.
But you
Gotcha.
can't take away from his talent.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Lastly, is there anything that you're working on? Do you have any new music coming out? Any new projects that you're working on that you'd like to share with us?
Well, right now I got the single "Let's Take Time" out, or
Uh-huh.
it's called "Let's Take Time," but it's out
I
and
got you.
it's on iTunes and all the digital media platforms, so you can get that.
I see.
Um, so I basically got a whole album that's just waiting. I'm gonna drop one single at a time, and then while we were locked down in COVID,
Uh-huh.
I basically did an album full of cover songs. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
um, I did like a couple of Luther Vandross songs, like "For You to Love" and "Don't You Know That." I did the
Cool.
Isley Brothers' "Footsteps in the Dark." Um, I did "Babyface," "Given a Chance," like an instrumental version of that. Like I was
Okay.
just all over the place on this project, but I did like 8 or 9 songs during COVID. So look forward to that stuff. And like I said, I'll probably got enough music just to keep me going for the next couple of years. I could probably drop one like every 6 weeks.
All right, you got a vote. I got you. Got a
Yeah.
vote.
Yeah, I have a vault. I have a vault, actually. I do. Yes, it is.
Outstanding. Well, Terrence, I want to thank you so much for coming on and spending your lunchtime with us today and
Thank you for
sharing
having me.
sharing music talks and thoughts and just the whole nine. And we look
Yeah.
forward to hearing some more work, some more music from you.
All right. Thanks for having me. I
Thanks.
appreciate it. And you got
And
that theme song coming.
all right, I appreciate that. And for my audience out there, thank you again for spending your lunchtime with us. And I will see you next Tuesday, same time, at lunch on the Music Box. And as Don Cornelius used to say, always imparting, we wish you love, peace, and
Woo!
soul.
Sorry. Sorry. I wasn't supposed to do that.